She lit the last candle just as the power died again, and that's when she saw the figure standing outside her kitchen window. Still, watching, unblinking. The storm had knocked out the grid 3 hours ago. Most of the town was used to it. Back roads, patchy lines, no backup. But for Emily Warren, a newly divorced mother living in a quiet rental at the edge of the woods, this blackout was different. The kind that made your skin itch like someone was breathing on the back of your neck. She had checked every door twice. Deadbolted, window latches secured. The flashlight worked, but the batteries were low, and her phone, useless, no power. Number. Service. No one knew she'd moved here. No one but her ex. And now. Someone was outside. Emily's chest tightened as she slowly backed away from the window, not daring to blink. The figure didn't move. Not even when her foot creaked on the floorboard. Was it a man? A shadow? She reached for the kitchen drawer, praying the wine opener was where she left it, the only sharp thing in the house since she hadn't unpacked fully. She grabbed it, heart pounding. The candle flickered hard, and just like that, the figure was gone. It wasn't just fear now. It was something else, memory. Something she couldn't quite place. The feeling that this had happened before. She shut the curtains and stepped away. Then she saw it. A note. Not handwritten. Not delivered by mail. Just taped to the inside of the glass. Inside, 3 words. Found you, Em. She dropped the corkscrew. Hadn't told anyone where she moved. Not even her sister. After the divorce, after Jason had tried to take custody, after the restraining order, she vanished. New town, new name on the mailbox, no social media. The court file was sealed. So, who the hell knew she was here? The next hours blurred together. She locked herself in the bedroom, pushed a dresser against the door. No knocks, no sound. Just darkness, silence, and that one candle. The one she'd almost left UNLI to. By 4 a.m. The candle was gone. By 5 a.m. The lights were still off. By 6 a.m. She cracked open the door. Every window in the house had been opened, not broken. Open. There was no note on the window anymore, but there was something else. On the wall above her fireplace, written in thick black marker. Do you remember that night in 2018? She dropped to her knees that night. She knew exactly which night. Flashback. Kalon Rain, screaming. Her and Jason in the car. She had grabbed the wheel. He lost control. They crashed. Something was in the road, she'd said, but no one else saw it. Jason had never forgiven her, but no one else had ever known what she saw. No one, except the man in the woods that night, the one she didn't tell the cops about, the man who walked up to the car while Jason was unconscious, the one who smiled and whispered, "You'll forget me, but I won't forget you." She thought he was a hallucination, grief and panic, but now. Now he was back. She ran. Out the door, down the road, to the nearest neighbor. A quarter mile through mud and cold. When she got there, she banged on the door like her life depended on it. It wasn't until the woman opened the door that Emily realized she couldn't speak. Not a word. The power was out here too. The neighbor, an older woman named Clara, took her in, made tea on the gas stove, and told her everything. "You're the 3rd girl this week to show up like this," Clara said softly. "First, it was Danielle, then Tasha, now you." "Show up how?" Emily rasped. During the blackout, terrified, saying they were followed. Emily's heart nearly stopped. Clara reached for something, an old newspaper clipping, faded, water damaged, dated April 2018. Headline: Local woman claims she was hunted after storm blackout, no charges filed. And there he was, a grainy image, blurred, but the same man from her nightmare night. The same man who said, "You'll forget me, but I won't forget you." He had a name, but someone had blacked it out with ink. Only 2 letters remained visible. Maine, Emily looked up at Clara, her hands shaking. Did he kill the other girls? Clara didn't blink. No, she said slowly. But the strange thing is, they all disappeared before the power came back on. The lights flickered once, then again, then everything went dark. The silence after the lights went out wasn't normal. It was hungry, like the house itself was holding its breath. Emily clutched the chipped teacup in Clara's guest room, her fingers trembling so badly she spilled half its contents onto the floral quilt. She didn't care. Her thoughts were still back in her own home, on the note, the windows, and the message on the wall. Do you remember that night in 2018? She did. She remembered it all. But why now? Why, after years of silence, had it started again? Clara hadn't said much after the power cut. Just lit an oil lamp, handed her a blanket, and told her to lock the door from the inside. Then she vanished into her room and left Emily alone with her thoughts and the newspaper clipping. Emily read it again. April 2018. Jessica Mallory, 29, reported being followed during a multi-hour power outage in Miller County. No suspects were named. The woman described a tall man in black watching her from outside her home. Police found no evidence. She vanished 3 days later. Her body was never found. Emily stared at the grainy photo. It wasn't just the man she recognized, it was the background. He was standing in front of her old house, the one she shared with Jason before the crash. That couldn't be a coincidence. She needed answers. She waited until sunrise, or what passed for it under storm-thick skies, then knocked gently on Clara's door. Nothing. She knocked again. Louder. Clara? Still nothing. She tried the handle. Locked. She walked around the house. Clara's car was still in the driveway, but her purse? Her coat? Gone. Emily's gut twisted. She opened the front door and froze. The newspaper clipping was gone from the table. In its place was a Polaroid. Old YELLOWED. A picture of Emily sleeping in Clara's guest room, taken just hours earlier. On the back, written in blocky ink, 3rd time's the charm. Emily dropped the photo and ran. She didn't stop running until she reached the local police station, a 2-room brick building with a sagging roof and a sleepy deputy behind the desk. He raised an eyebrow. "You okay, ma'am?" Emily held up the Polaroid with shaking hands. "Someone took this of me last night, inside a locked room." The deputy, a balding man named Ray, took it slowly. "Where was this?" She told him everything. The house, the blackout, the figure, the message on her wall. Clara's vanishing. Ray listened quietly. Too quietly. When she finished, he stood. "Wait here." He walked into the back and returned with a file folder, thick, yellowed with age. Emily recognized the name on the tab immediately. Jessica Mallory. She lived in that same house you're renting now, Ray said. 5 years ago, another storm, another blackout, same story. Said someone was watching her. Left in a panic, no one saw her again. Emily swallowed hard. "And you didn't think to warn the next tenants?" Ray gave a helpless shrug. "We didn't make the connection until later. Most people thought she made it up, until the second girl." Emily leaned forward. Clara said something about another woman. "Tasha," Ray nodded. "Tasha Singh, moved in last year, same pattern. Storm, power outage, panic call, then gone, never found. We figured she ran off." No signs of struggle. Emily stood. "This isn't a pattern. It's a hunt." Ray paused. "What do you mean?" "I think someone's using the blackouts to target women who live in that house. Someone who knows the layout, the neighborhood, the timing." "Like a serial killer?" Ray asked. "Or something worse?" Ray offered to send an officer to escort her back to the house. She refused. Instead, she asked to stay at a motel, one with a backup generator. Something with locks, cameras, Lights. Ray agreed and drove her there himself. The Sunset Inn was grim but functional. She locked herself in and stayed up, rereading every article on Jessica and Tasha she could find. All three women had lived in the same house. All three had experienced blackout stalkings. All three had vanished within 72 hours. She had already survived the first night. That evening, her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. No name, no location. Just 3 words, window. Now, M. Emily's heart slammed against her ribs. She turned slowly, unsure if she wanted to look. And then something impossible. It wasn't a man. It was Jessica Mallory. Alive. Standing outside her motel window. Emily burst out of the room, not even grabbing her shoes. She ran around the building, but Jessica was gone. In her place, taped to the glass, was another photo. This time, it was Jessica, arms tied behind her back, sitting in a dark basement. Eyes wide, terrified. A timestamp in the corner. April 22/4. Emily gasped. That wasn't last year. That was 2 months ago. Jessica was alive, or had been. Emily scanned the photo. Behind Jessica, on the far wall, she saw a sign, rusted, fallen. It read, Nolan Textile Mill, authorized entry only. Emily knew that place. It had burned down years ago. The skeleton of it still stood 5 miles outside of town, near the river. She printed the photo at the front desk, grabbed her coat, and drove. The mill was worse than she remembered. Broken walls, collapsing floors, rotted machinery. Perfect for someone to hide in, or hide someone. She stepped inside, flashlight shaking in her hands. The smell hit first. Mold, oil, something else, rotting fabric, or maybe something deeper. She followed the path from the photo. Brick wall, rusted beam, cracked floor tile. There, the sign. Just like in the picture. She was close. Then she heard it. A voice, low, male. Double quotes. 3 down, 1 to go. She ducked behind a support beam, her breath stuck in her throat. Footsteps echoed. Slow, careful. Then another voice, a woman's. She's here already. Too early. Emily's blood ran cold. 2 of them, then a laugh. Not the kind you hear from a person. The kind you'd hear from someone who's waited too long for something terrible. We can't let her leave, can we? Emily turned to run. 2. Late. A hand clamped over her mouth. A sharp jab to her side. Everything went black. She woke up in complete silence. Not tied. Not gagged. Just lying on a cold cement floor in a pitch-dark room. Her voice echoed when she whispered, "Hello?" No answer. Then, a tiny red light blinked out across the room. A camera. Recording. And a voice. Over an old intercom, metallic and cold. "Welcome to the blackout, Emily. Welcome to the blackout, Emily." The voice echoed off the cement walls like it had come from inside her own head. Cold, genderless, mechanical. Emily pushed herself off the ground, heart pounding. The blinking red light on the wall, a camera, blinked twice and shut off, plunging her back into thick, suffocating dark. She stood carefully, arms outstretched, touching cold steel on one side and what felt like rusted wood on the other. The room smelled of old blood, oil, and mildew. Somewhere above her, a fan spun lazily, but didn't move any air. Her voice cracked. "What do you want from me?" Silence. Then, another voice. This one. Human. Female. Don't answer them. It's how they start. Emily spun around, nearly slipping on the slick floor. "Who's there?" she whispered. A shuffle. Then a face appeared in the corner, barely visible, backlit by a faint green glow from something electronic. She was thin, pale, dirty, but her eyes, they were sharp. Alert. Jessica. She was still alive. "I thought I saw you at the motel," Emily breathed. "Outside the window," Jessica nodded. "I got out for about 3 hours. It was a test. They let me run, to see if I'd lead them to someone new. Emily froze. So, you led them to me? Jessica flinched but didn't deny it. They told me if I didn't, they'd kill the other one. Emily's mind raced. The other one? Jessica turned slowly, pointing to a dark corner of the room where a second figure was huddled. Tasha. The missing girl from the newspaper. Her skin was bruised. Her lip cracked, but she was breathing. 3 women, trapped in a room. And whoever put them here was watching. A sudden clang echoed through the walls, followed by the mechanical whir of something unlocking. Jessica stiffened. It's starting. What is? Emily asked. They call it the game. The lights in the room buzzed to life. Dim, flickering fluorescence. The walls were covered in torn photographs, blood-stained calendars, wires, and handwritten notes. Emily's breath caught. The walls were covered in photos of them. Jessica, Tasha, herself. At stores. Walking dogs, sleeping, even pictures from years ago, from before the crash, before Emily's divorce, before any of this had started. This man, or these people, had been watching them for a long time. A speaker crackled to life. Round 1. You choose who speaks. The other 2 lose food for the night. Emily's mouth went dry. What? Tasha's voice was weak. It's always like this. They pit us against each other, every night. You choose wrong, and someone pays. Jessica added, and no matter what you do, you always lose something. Emily stood frozen. I won't play, she said. A pause. Then the voice again. Refusal counts as silence. That means all 3 go hungry, again. A metal door slammed. Shut in the distance. Tasha slumped against the wall. Emily turned to Jessica. Why would someone do this? Jessica looked at her, dead-eyed. Because we were all involved. Emily shook her head. In what? Jessica didn't answer. Instead, she pulled something from under her shirt, a small rusted pendant. She opened it slowly. Inside was a photo of a child, maybe 4 years old, curly hair, bright smile. My son, she whispered. Emily's eyes filled. They have him? Jessica shook her head. No, he died. In 2018, same night I crashed into a ditch during a blackout. Same night I saw him, Emily gasped. You mean the man in the woods? Jessica nodded. That night, I swear I saw someone step into the road before I swerved. Everyone thought I imagined it. But I saw his face, pale, empty eyes, smiling. Emily backed away slowly, her head spinning. I saw the same thing. Jessica locked eyes with her. We all did. Suddenly, a new voice came through the speaker. A man's voice. Familiar. Jason. Double quotes M. I'm sorry. Emily staggered. It was her ex-husband's voice, trembling, broken. I should have told you. The crash, it wasn't your fault. Silence. But I lied. I told the cops you grabbed the wheel. I told them you were unstable. Because I was scared they'd find out what I'd really done. Jessica looked confused. Emily's mind raced. Jason had lied to frame her? The speaker clicked again. Jason, I hit something that night. Someone. Or something. I felt the bump. I saw the shadow, and I drove off anyway. Tasha whispered. Why are we hearing this? Emily stared at the speaker, because someone was playing judge, and the game wasn't about food. It was about truth. Hours passed, or maybe minutes. Time had no meaning. Then a buzzer sounded. The door creaked open. A shadow appeared. Not the man. A woman with white hair. Long coat, no emotion. She dropped something on the floor. A flashlight, a map, and a note. You have 1 hour. One of you leaves. 2 stay behind. Tasha whimpered. We've done this before. Emily crouched down. There's a way out? Jessica nodded. But only one person gets the map. The others get locked in. Last time Tasha won. Emily looked at Jessica. So you gave them. My name got me taken. Jessica's voice broke. I didn't want to, but I didn't know what else to do. Emily's hands balled into fists. So now it's my turn? The map was written in red ink. Through vents, down tunnels, across floors labeled in codes. Too complicated to memorize. Jessica stepped forward. Let me go this time, please. Emily shook her head. Why should I trust you? Jessica pulled out the pendant again. Because I'm not leaving without you. For the first time, Emily saw it. Regret. Real, bone-deep guilt. Tasha whispered. Someone has to go, or we all die. Emily took a breath. Then another. She did the only thing she could think of. She ripped the map in three. Tasha gasped. What are you doing? Emily held up the pieces. No more games. We go together, or we don't go at all. Jessica's eyes filled. They'll kill us, then let them watch us fight. The escape was madness. They used shoelaces to tie the map back together. Memorized each path. Move in a triangle formation. One at the front, one at the back. One watching overhead, through vents thick with dust. Down metal stairwells that screamed with every step. Past cages and empty rooms. The entire time the red lights followed. Then recording, judging, testing, then they found the room. A final door, and inside. Clara, bound, gagged, alive. Emily lunged forward. Untied her. Clara gasped for air. They took me from the house, she choked. Said I was too helpful, that I'd ruined the fear. Jessica backed into the hallway. This is the end. The final test. They all turned as the last door opened on its own. Floodlights blinded them. And then, nothing. Emily woke up on the side of the highway. No Clara, no Jessica, no Tasha. Just a box in her lap. Inside, a burner phone, a USB drive, and a photo of all four of them, standing, smiling with one line on the back. Tell your story, or we'll finish it. The photo haunted her. Four women, standing side by side. One holding a bruised child's toy. One with a broken wrist and a splint. One smiling, eyes red from crying, and Emily holding the camera's remote. All of them alive, but only Emily had made it out. It had been 2 days since she woke on the side of the highway. Barefoot, shivering, clutching a box with a burner phone, a USB drive, and that single impossible photo. She hadn't slept much since, or eaten. Her motel room smelled like old coffee and panic. She plugged the USB into her laptop and watched the only file on it. The Blackout Game, Session 3, timestamped, edited, cold. Clips of them in the cell, eating, crying, talking. Then clips of Jessica screaming, Tasha singing to herself, Clara whispering prayers in the dark, then Emily from above, pacing, planning, daring to fight back. Over it all, a voice narrating calmly. Male, deep, calm. Subjects were selected based on shared trauma, low credibility, and prior exposure to suppressed hallucination events. Emily paused it. Suppressed hallucination events? She rewound and played again. The voice continued. All three primary subjects, Jessica Mallory, Tasha Singh, and Emily Warren, reported seeing an unidentified figure during the April 2018 blackout. Reports were dismissed as trauma-related hallucinations, despite overlapping detail and exact time match. Then a flash of text across the screen. Project M13, experimental induced fear conditioning. Emily stared at the screen. Her body frozen. It wasn't random. It was a program. She dug deeper. Inside the box was another slip of paper, folded tight. A string of letters and numbers. She typed them into a secure browser. They unlocked a hidden site. An archive. M13 Psychological Conditioning Archives. Confidential use only. Dozens of files. Case studies, photos, redacted reports. Every missing woman in the program, not murdered, but tested, monitored, pushed until their minds fractured. It had started after a military experiment in 2017. on emotional suppression and fear thresholds. What they called fear recall breaks. When Emily crashed in 2018, she hadn't imagined the figure on the road. He was part of the trial. All 3 women had been chosen after being found vulnerable, isolated, or dismissed by authorities. All 3 were gaslighted into believing they were imagining it. All 3 had become test subjects. Jessica hadn't betrayed Emily. Not fully. Tasha hadn't gone crazy. And Clara? She was never just a neighbor. She was the first subject, and she stayed to help others survive. Emily curled into herself, hands over her mouth. How many other women had gone missing? Not murdered, but rewritten, reprogrammed? That night, the burner phone rang. Unknown number. Emily hesitated, then answered. A voice whispered, "You survived." "So did I." It was Jessica. "Oh my God," Emily whispered. "Where are you?" "I don't know," Jessica replied. "Some compound. It's always dark. They're still watching." Emily clutched the phone tight. "Why did they let me go?" "You were the only one who didn't break." Silence. "They're not done, Em. That last room wasn't the end. It was just the final test. You passed, so now they think you're one of them." Emily's stomach turned. "They want me to what? Join them?" Jessica's voice cracked. "They think you can help them make it worse." Emily looked at the box. The USB, the photo. Her entire life had been stripped down to 2 choices. Tell the truth, expose the program, risk her life. Or play along. Join them. Protect herself. The old Emily, the one who stayed quiet when Jason lied. The one who accepted guilt to avoid conflict. The one who shrank every time she was called crazy. That Emily was gone. She had walked through hell. She had watched women break. Now it was her turn to choose who she'd become. The next morning, she drove to a rural internet cafe in the next state, paying in cash. She uploaded the USB files to 5 encrypted servers, sent copies to trusted journalists, posted clips anonymously to Reddit and hidden forums. Within hours, 1 clip, Tasha singing a lullaby in the dark while a red light blinked, hit 1,000,000 views. By nightfall, major blogs had picked it up. People thought it was found footage, until someone matched Jessica Mallory's face to a missing persons case. Then Tasha. Then Emily. The internet exploded. She changed her name again. This time, not to hide. To protect the others. She rented a basement apartment in a mountain town. Worked under the table. Stayed offline, but watched as her footage started a movement. People started coming forward. A woman from Oregon claimed she'd survived something similar in 2019. A man from Colorado said his sister vanished after describing the same hallucination. A pale man standing in the road, smiling, and in every post, a name started showing up: M-13. Weeks passed. One day, Emily opened her door and found an envelope on the floor. Inside was a Polaroid. A fresh one. Jessica. Tasha. Clara. Alive. In a field, laughing. Written on the back, still watching. But this time, we're watching you. Emily smiled for the first time in weeks. She placed the photo on her wall, next to a handwritten note of her own. Sometimes, losing everything is the only way to find who you really are. She had been a victim. Now she was the voice they couldn't silence. The end.